tune in late at night or tune in the sun. This is TFM. Get ready to rock. From AM to PM. Come on. Let's talk.
TFM 95.4.
Let's talk.
You've just heard the live feed from the TTV studios on TFM 95.4. Let's talk.
Hello and welcome to Outline. Here are the latest updates from our newsroom. The Ministry of Health today announced the registration of 9 new coronavirus deaths in Oman. The death toll has now touched 402 in Oman due to the virus so far, the officials at the Ministry of Health informed. They also extended their deepest condolences to the family of the deceased. Officials at the Ministry of Health also announced the registration of 864 new coronavirus cases in the country today. 771 of the new cases are Omani nationals and 75 for non-Omanis, bringing the total number of coronavirus cases registered in the Sultanate to 77,904. According to the Ministry of Health, this number also includes the recovery of 58,587 patients and 402 deaths. The ministry urged everyone to adhere to social distancing instructions issued by the Supreme Committee and the Ministry of Health, as well as staying at home and not going out unnecessarily. It's time for a quick commercial break, but stay tuned as we have more updates your way. Welcome back to Outline. Here are the latest updates. The Diwan of Royal Court issued a statement yesterday reading as follows. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq has addressed a message of greetings and best wishes to the people of Oman and residents on its territories on the occasion of Eid al Adha 1441 AH. His Majesty the Sultan also extended his greetings to the Islamic nation on this occasion, praying to the Almighty Allah to make this Eid return with prosperity, bounty and blessings on all. His Majesty the Sultan has also given royal directives to extend Eid al Adha holidays for public and private sectors till Thursday, the 16th of Dhul Hijjah 1441 AH, August the 6th, 2020, so that the official duty in the two sector resumes on Sunday the 19th of Dhul Hijjah 1441 AH, August the 9th, 2020. May the Almighty Allah protect His Majesty the Sultan and grant him a long life and success. May the Almighty Allah bestow plenty of bounties on Oman and spare the country, its citizens and residents all harms, the statement added. Moreover, the wife of His Majesty the Sultan has also extended Eid greetings to the citizens and the residents of the Sultanate. In addition to that, His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq has issued a royal pardon to 433 prisoners, including 217 expats, the Royal Oman Police said. In a statement issued online on Tuesday by the Royal Oman Police, it said that the royal pardon coincides with the blessed Eid al Adha. The Supreme Committee in charge to deal with COVID-19 pandemic in the Sultanate on Monday has called upon all citizens and residents to be careful and safe during upcoming Eid al Adha holidays. The committee has also called for reducing movement as much as possible during the daytime and to avoid any family and social gatherings. A statement issued online by the Oman News Agency said, the Supreme Committee, who is in charge of the mechanism for dealing with developments resulting from the spread of COVID-19, held a meeting on Monday under the chairmanship of His Excellency Mr. Hamoud bin Faisal Al Busaidi, Minister of Interior and Chairman of the committee, in the presence of the Excellencies and members of the committee at the National Center for Emergency Management. The statement also stated, on the occasion upcoming Eid al Adha holidays, the Supreme Committee has taken the honor to express its sincere congratulations and blessings to His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq and to the Arab and Islamic nations, praying to God Almighty to return this occasion to His Majesty and grant him good health and wellness and the Sultanate under his wise leadership. The statement confirmed the committee has followed the progress of the process of applying the decision of the complete closure between the various governorates of the Sultanate, preventing any movements and closing all public places and commercial shops from 7 p.m. until 6 a.m., which came into effect on Saturday, July 25th. The committee urges all members of society to be very careful during the Eid al Adha holidays and has appealed to them to reduce movement as much as possible during the daytime and to avoid family and social gatherings of any kind, as it has been scientifically proven that gatherings lead to infections among large groups of people. Residents who will be arriving to the Sultanate from abroad can subject themselves to domestic quarantine. An official from the airport sector speaking exclusively to the Times of Oman said, residents only who will come to Oman need not stay in institutional quarantine. They can stay at their homes as part of domestic quarantine while taking precautionary measures. The precautionary measures include isolating themselves in a separate room in the house with a bathroom, not mixing with family members, adhering to safety and health procedures while eating and using tools and clothes. He also confirmed that residents arriving in the Sultanate shall be required to download and start the registration process on the Tarassut Plus application before arrival, as well as pay an amount of 5 Omani Riyal to obtain a tracking bracelet to wear during quarantine. To help patients with COVID-19 who are currently being treated in hospitals and under home quarantine, a local company will soon begin manufacturing surgical and N95 masks in the country. Al Farsi National Enterprises, which will be making these masks, hope to help meet the national demand for protective gear during the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, as well as export it overseas to countries that require such equipment. Issam Al Farsi, chairman of Al Farsi National Enterprises, commented, "We are an Omani company supplying infection prevention and control supplies for hospitals for over 10 years. However, during the COVID-19 pandemic, we found it impossible to procure personal protective equipment for our customers. Many had to get by with rationing and reusing these life-saving supplies and had to compromise on the quality of the product due to the unavailability. We promised ourselves that we will never be put in this situation again, so we started building our own manufacturing facility to make surgical masks and healthcare respirators. These masks will be sold under the brand name Trusta, and in this context, Al Farsi said the name Trusta was chosen to reflect confidence in the quality of the Omani product. We are striving to achieve the government's directions of localization of industry and products." Saju George, managing director of Al Farsi, said in context to the efforts made towards the manufacturing these masks that the entire team works night and day to transform our company from a distributor to a manufacturer. This project also aims to transform Oman from an importer to an exporter of surgical masks and N95 respirators. We hope to achieve this goal by the end of this year. Expats now make up less than 40% of Oman's population, the first time this happened in the last 5 years. According to data from the National Center for Statistics and Information, as of 27 July 2020, expatriates in Oman constitute only 39.9% of the country's total population of 4,536,938. Foreign nationals now make up just 1.81 million of the population, while Omanis account for 2.725 million. The highest the expatriate numbers have reached over the past 5 years in terms of percentage was on 26 April 2017, when they accounted for 46% of the population. On that day, there were 2.1 million expatriates and 2.49 million Omanis, with the total population of the country amounting to 4.6 million people. Data from the National Center for Statistics and Information shows that more than 45,000 expats have left Oman in the last month alone. According to the center's monthly statistical bulletin, the total population in the country at the end of June was 4,578,016, while on 27 July it was 4,536,938. The number of expats during this period decreased by 46,897. Expat numbers have also dropped by a further of 37,000 between May and June 2020. The Department of Blood Bank Services has made an urgent appeal for people to come forward and donate blood. The DBBS said in a statement online, due to the shortage of blood donors, we appeal to everyone to take the initiative to donate blood so that we can provide it to patients who need blood transfusion. Kindly contact the blood bank to book an appointment for blood donation by calling 94-555-648 according to their statement. More than 40 workers have been arrested in Muscat Governorate in July for selling drinking water in public places and roads, which is a violation of the law. A statement issued online by the Ministry of Manpower said, the ministry represented by the Joint Inspection Team in Muscat Governorate arrested 43 workers in July alone for selling drinking water in public places and roads, which is a violation, and legal measures have been taken against them. It's time for a quick commercial break, but stay tuned as we have three esteemed guests joining us to next session where we'll be talking about Eid Al Adha and the current lockdown that is in place. So stay tuned. Welcome back to Outline. And as I said that we have three esteemed guests joining in for the session right now where we'll be talking about Eid Al Adha and the current lockdown that is in place. So let's welcome Major Mudar Al Mazrui from Royal Oman Police, Maimuna Shibani, founder the Real Retail Agency, and Engineer Ali Al Barwani, member Oman Road Safety Association. Welcome. I welcome you all to the show. Major Mudar, my first question actually goes out to you, sir, right now, because I know that you are on protocol duty right now and you have taken out this exclusive time just to be on the show with us. So thank you so much for making that effort. And I would also like to congratulate you and the Royal Oman Police and all the forces that have been out on the road, making sure that people adhere to the safety precautions. And the job that is being done by the Royal Oman Police in terms of the vigilance, in terms of the determination is just exceptional. So thank you so much and congratulations on that.
Thank you, Madiha. And also I would like to thank you again for giving us the chance to be with you and to welcome your valuable guests to be here in the show. And as you said, you know that we started the lockdown between the governorates, and here is a good chance to give our thanks and prize the commitment of citizens and residents to the decision of the lockdown and the restriction of movement in the last 2 days, or let's say in the last couple of nights. We noticed that the people are highly aware of their responsibility. Alhamdulillah, we didn't find any of those who violate the restrictions, orders, and they were all committed to the decision of the higher Supreme Committee.
So Major Mudar, you're seeing that people are actually adhering to the instructions and they are actually abiding by the rules that has been issued and announced by the Supreme Committee in terms of the total lockdown from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Yes, that's what we noticed in the last 2 nights or the last 2 days. Also in the checkpoints between the governorates, we didn't notice any crowdness as we used to have in the previous lockdown. Maybe because people know that the control and checkpoints have no authority to allow anyone to cross the checkpoint. Those who will go to those control and checkpoints must have prior permission to cross. Otherwise, they will not be allowed to cross those checkpoints. And this gave us a sort of relief that people also didn't come and didn't cause any crowdness over those checkpoints.
Major Mudar, the lockdown actually came into place on Saturday, July 25th at 7 p.m. and today is let's say the 3rd day of the lockdown, no, 4th day. Sorry, my maths is really bad. It's fourth a day. In these 4 days, did you get to find anyone? Has there any violations done in this regard?
It is a very few cases actually, and most of those people thought they have to go out, but there were no really any excuses, because we already announced through media and through our social accounts that people have to obtain a prior permission to cross or to go or to move during the lockdown period from 7 p.m. until 6 a.m. And people know that there are only a very few groups of the society or the community who can cross or can move during the lockdown period. And this is the main reason why we only have a very few offenders.
Thank you, Major Mother. Engineer Ali, my next question is for you, sir.
Yes, I'm listening to you, Madiha. How are you? Hope you are doing well.
I'm doing well. Thank you so much, sir, once again for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you very much. It was always a pleasure for me as well, and thank you for having me. And I'm glad that I can hear Major Mothers speaking. I know he's a busy man. Anyway, ROB and all the people who contribute in doing the protection plan and keeping the COVID-19 impact to the minimum in the Sultanate, they deserve all our thanks, and we really appreciate the job they are doing.
Absolutely,
and
sir.
Really glad to be a contributor in this session or in this episode today with you.
Absolutely, sir. The lockdown actually wouldn't be in place and so accounted for if the ROP wasn't really there, looking out for all the citizens and residents in the country.
Yeah, ROB is doing great job anyway, but I think is the commitment from the people is quite high as well, and that's what we experience in Oman and in the Sultanate, alhamdulillah.
So, Engineer Ali, my question for you is, the lockdown, as I mentioned earlier, that came in place on Saturday, July 25th. How are you seeing the decision of this lockdown, and how are you seeing people behaving to this lockdown?
Of course, the decision we are supporting. The decision is for good because we just look for the objective. The ultimate objective is our health, and COVID-19 is a global problem as everybody watch the news. So the lockdown happening is for the good, and we are looking forward really for this time, for the coming 2 weeks, then to see a result and to see minimum cases. And people, the second part of your questions, I can see from the observation and being one as well from the people, you can see that the people maybe kind of take it as a preparing because, this is a new as well for people that after 7 p.m. no one to move, no one to go places, no visit, no cars, nothing. So you see the argument is happening, of course, with all the people here in Oman. Talking about what is okay, what is not okay, and again is kind of a new things for the country and for the people. So very, very norm that to be at the early few days, kind of trying to adapt to the situation. However, as a conclusion of I say something, people they more committed to the rules and regulations. And adaptation process is varied from individual to another, and from family to another, and as well location to another. The situation is different, but overall the adaptation process is going smoothly, and we can say now today we are in the third days from the new rules by after 7 p.m. no movement. People, they are feeling like it's a Ramadan time. Some people, they're saying like this comment, it is like a Ramadan time. So by 7 p.m., everybody inside homes.
Thank you so much, Engineer Ali. My next question is from Maimouna Shabani. Thank you for joining us in today's episode. Maimouna, can you hear me? Okay. Maimouna, can you hear me?
Hello,
Yes,
Madiha.
yes, I can hear you now.
Hi.
Hi, thank you so
Thanks
much
for
for
having me
joining
on
us.
your show.
It is our pleasure to have you and talk to you about how the situation is right now, considering the lockdown that came in place on Saturday, July 25th. Memuna, you are the founder and you are actually for the retail agency. So my question for you, in terms of employees, how are the employees? How do you see the employees taking the decision issued by the Supreme Committee of the total closure from 7 till 6 in the morning?
Everyone needs to play a part in controlling the spread of COVID-19. The ROP is doing their job, the government is doing their job, the private sector is doing their job. It really now falls down to the employees and the people about complying with the regulations, with the restrictions that have been put in place to combat this virus. And by doing so, employees are not just respecting the lockdown, they're actually helping prevent the spread of the virus and saving lives.
And considering the current situation now, there is COVID going on, and now there is lockdown starting from 7 p.m. every day until August 8th. How flexible do you think the companies should be in allowing the employees to actually work from home?
Well, as we continue to see the numbers and the number of people that are infected, there will definitely be a significant disruption to normal working hours or normal working patterns, things that we're very accustomed and used to. Definitely, workplaces should facilitate working from home whenever it is possible. I know some businesses it's not possible, but if it is possible, then employees should continue performing their duties from home, and flexible arrangements should need to be considered by all companies at times like this.
Right, thank you, Maimuna. Major Mudhir, are you still there with us?
Yeah, I'm still there
Yes.
with you.
Major Mudhir, you heard like I was talking to Engineer Ali about the situation of lockdown, and then we have Maimuna Shivani as well talking about how employees are feeling and how they should comply with the rules and regulations. My question for you is, about the violation. You mentioned that there are hardly any violators that you have come across in the period of 4 days. I want to know what is the process, because I know that like we saw few videos of ROP actually warning people before giving any violation. Is this something that you are practicing, or do you just give them a fine of 100 riyals because that's what the Supreme Committee has announced, or do you warn them, give them a heads up, and the next time you actually give them a fine?
See, Madiha, the whole idea is about controlling the spread of COVID-19. It's not a matter of gathering money from the community or fining them. This is not our purpose, and this is not actually the purpose of the government from imposing these laws or the lockdown of the governorate and putting restriction of movement. The whole idea is to help the community to reduce the spread of the COVID-19, as well as reduce the infection cases, giving, let's say, a relief to the medical staff and the hospital institutions or the medical institutions, because, in the last, let's say, in the last 2 weeks, the number of the infected people were almost every day above 1,000. Alhamdulillah, after the lockdown today, there were something around 800 something, which is below 1,000, which is a good start. So our purpose from being outside is to warn people at the first place. But as we always say, there is we cannot tolerate it with those people who violate the law. The first day of the lockdown on Saturday, we started to warn people rather than fining them. Now everybody knows that is the movement beyond or after 7 p.m. is not allowed. People know that they cannot move from governorate to another without a prior permission. So right now we don't have any excuses. We have to find them if we find them outside, because we already warned them the first night. They all know the rules. Everybody knows that they should stay at home and not move after 7 p.m. unless there is really a need to go outside. So, yeah, We warned people at the first night, but not anymore, because we know that they should not go outside.
Thank you so much, Major. It's a warning out there for all the viewers right now listening that it was only first today that ROP actually made an exception of warning out people who were still out roaming on the road after the curfew was announced. Now there are no more exceptions because they have been repeatedly, before the curfew that came in place, they have been repeatedly announcing the curfew time and the rules and regulations that people should be abiding by. Engineer Ali, Major Mudar already told that there have been few violators in this regard who are still not abiding by the rules and regulations issued by the Supreme Committee. Why do you think, sir, that people are still, unfortunately, not abiding by these rules and regulations?
It's basically, I think, is always done with the, of course, awareness is one, but I would say is a planning. Many people, they always have, commitment here and there. And they are sometimes worried that they are missing some of the appointment or some job is a priority things. So some people, they see that is a priority, and then always they can get some the ROP, for example, because they are controlling the most point. They will understand that he have some need and he need to do it, because for him as individual or a group of people that is so important. However, I think the advice here is that the top important now, what is matters is basically COVID-19 rules and regulation, because this is for the good for everyone. So we need just to really reflect and cooperate and collaborate and forget about our priority for some times until we get the better environment, or we can just fix it in a better way, using online if possible, making a different place, is all about planning basically. So if you see basically from the road safety, for example, this is one of the good things happening during COVID-19, that the road is empty. Even many radios like you, we see pictures from your organization. There is a video. Most of the road are empty. Most of the places are empty. There is just only very few people who has been confirmed as well by Major Mother. They sometimes having some kind of overlap, and this overlap is basically the timing. Now, for example, everybody knows by 7 p.m. no one should be on roads. Everybody should be inside homes. So sometimes they a little bit fail to catch up with the time. Exactly like what is happening in Ramadan, and I said at the first phrase. Exactly the same thing. So people, they need to plan it ahead and not to rush for the time. So it's all about planning. That is, I think, the reason is always a planning and a priority for the people, and they need to fix it and adjust it. That's all, and things will be zero violation to the rules and regulation, inshallah.
Thank you so much, Engineer Ali. It's time for a quick commercial break, but stay tuned, as after the break, we'll ask Maimouna what employees must do to adhere to the lockdown. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to TTV. You're watching Outline. Before going on a commercial break, I said we'll ask Maimouna what employees must do to respect the lockdown. Maimouna, what do you think the employees must do in this situation?
I agree with Engineer Ali Barwani about it's all about planning. You need to plan your day according to the lockdown, according to 7 p.m. So everything needs to be shuffled. You need to leave work early, get your work done early, take into consideration there may be some traffic, abide by the speed limits, etc. So it's just about planning your day accordingly to the new regulations that have been set out by the ROP, and just and plan and work towards that.
Maimuna, like you said, that there should be a planning, and even Engineer Ali said that people need to plan their day accordingly. In this regard, what kind of advice would you like to share with the companies out there to actually shuffle with their working hours and working shifts for the feasibility of the employees who are coming into work?
Well, it really depends on the business, or it depends on the sector. But generally, as I said, if the employee can perform his duties at home, then allow him to do so. If not, and it's a necessity that they must come to the office or come to the workplace, then they need to, of course, follow all of the safety regulations. Shift timings will definitely change because of the working hours now, because of the number of hours we're allowed out. So it also goes back to planning. Companies need to know how to plan accordingly to ensure that their business is not affected, and that they have enough manpower on the floor, and that their work is being done.
Major Mother, in terms of violations, sorry, I keep asking about violation because people are really interested to know how many times they can be violated, if they break the rule. Let's say you have a violator, you have already fined him for once. Would you still be repeating if the violator continues to repeat the offense?
Madiha, and everybody must know that we are not only dealing with fines. I mean, even from the first time, we can take them to the public prosecution if if they were showing disrespect to the law and regulations. So the first time we might warn them or give them a fine. Even we can take them to the public prosecution. So it's not only a fine. We have laws issued by the Supreme Committee that gave us the right as a ROP to take the violator to the public prosecution. And from there, they even can take them to the court, to send them to jail, and all the other punishment that is decided by the judge.
Okay, Major Mudar, we have got a question from one of our viewers right now. The viewer is saying that he is working in Duqm and his family is based in Muscat. And he wanted to know if he gets the permission from his work right now. His post is of an engineer, and he wants to spend the Eid holidays with his family. Would it be possible for him to pass the checkpoint with the permission from the company, and if that permission needs to be endorsed or stamped by any official authorities beforehand?
See, this is for him and for everyone who is listening to us. If you are located outside the Muscat and you're working there as the guy who is asking right now in Duqm, all what he has to do is that he gets a permission from his company to show, or something, a letter from the company. Then he takes this letter and goes immediately to the police headquarters in the governorate where he is located right now. So he takes the letter from the company at Duqm, take it to Al-Wusta headquarters, police headquarters, and from there he can get the permission to come back to Muscat. And this is applied to anyone who is outside Muscat, even for those who are in Muscat right now and they would like to go to their home villages or to their relatives outside. They have to obtain prior permission from Muscat Governorate headquarters.
So this way, the permission, I'll just repeat, Major Mudar, the process is to get the permission from the company and get it stamped by the police headquarters in the governorate to go through the checkpoint. And this way, they can actually leave the governorate and can return after spending Eid holidays back to the governorate where they're working?
Yeah, but this doesn't apply for everyone. They have to be, a reason for that. It doesn't matter. It's not only that I would like to spend Eid holiday with my family. Just for him, he said that he is working in a Duqm, that usually we know that both people who work in Duqm, they spend 30 days in a Duqm and 2 weeks in Marta. The same thing applies for those people who are working in oil and gas fields. They spend almost 3 weeks in the desert, then they come back to Muscat for a week or two. The same thing they happen. They take a permission from a letter from their company, sub it from the police headquarters. Then they can go back to their hometown or to their houses.
Thank you so much, Major Mudir, for answering to that question. Engineer Ali, my question is for you now, sir. Talking about people who are struggling, the challenges, in the beginning there were challenges that people couldn't manage to get home in time because of the working hours and because of the traffic on the first day, because it was very fresh, the lockdown. What kind of advice would you like to give to the people to actually manage everything before 7 p.m.?
Yeah, I would say, as a community, we find ourselves all in challenging times. Now is not the time for us to push any new initiatives or any new plan, either with the government or with the private sector, you name it, unless they are connected to the pandemic event. And including this one, even people who are wanting to check the school, or to check the whatever workshop or training or whatever event. Even the meetings things, most of the meetings are cancelled. This is not only on the level of the social and community and people, but it's as well in the business, many business event things. So the focus basically now is all about COVID and safety and health. So this is what we need really to always keep them in mind. So if this objective, I may repeat myself, it's become the number one priority for all the people, then automatically anything else which is outside and is not connected with the COVID-19 plan, is not supporting the governmental measures, then we need always to put it in the second or in the third priority. And by this, I believe the people, they will adopt, and they will be always ahead of time, and then will be in a better situation. So that is always the advice. There is nothing matters for now. It is not the time. It's a challenging time. All what is matters is our health. We need to protect ourselves, to protect our beloved people, to protect our surrounding, to protect the country as a whole. So the contribution matters for now, and that is the minimum contribution is expected from all the people, from all the community, including ourselves. We need to encourage each other to just be patient, waiting for this time, and things inshallah will come to norm. But without a complete collaboration, without all the commitment from the society, so all these measures might be there will be a missing link. And we need to strengthen the link between us. It is the time for that, for now. And more than this, I think we need just to keep it for different times. And that's what will be my advice, Madiha.
Thank you, Engineer Ali. We have actually got a question for you, Engineer Ali, and Major Mudir both right now. There is this viewer asking that she works at one of the malls in Muscat, and although the malls are shutting down at 5:30 p.m. every day, the work closes at 5:30 p.m. However, by the time she finishes from her shift and she goes out to get the public transport, it sometimes takes a lot of time. So in that regard, for her first question is, what could you advise her to, if the work is not finished by 5:30, can she leave their work premises without informing the employer because she needs to be there before the 7 p.m. And in case if she gets late getting home because of the public transportation and because of the work shift, would that fine be on her or on her employer?
I think if yes, just allow me, I think this is again about planning. All employers, they know about this. All employers being requested, because as well, I am as well employee in one of the company. All employers, they are requested to really release their staff earlier. By the way, everything is shut down by 7 p.m. So this is a very normal thing, even for the employees, not to use this excuse. Is again and again, sorry for that, is all about planning. She should talk to the employer. I think he will not refuse. If he or she, whoever this employer is refused, that means is not helping the measures to take place. And I believe, maybe here Major Mother, he can comment on that one. If there is any entity, they are not obeying with the rules and regulation, then they become like a fine. So then they are not contributing to making things easier for the people. But this is something between the staff and between the organization. I would not expect ROB to go inside with everything. But there is the famous number. When they feel that they are under pressure or someone just, is not allowed them to abide with the rules and regulations or to follow the instruction, then maybe they just raise the voice and then they talk. I think that will be more than enough. Even this situation, I don't think should exist, honestly, because people, they really understand. We are in a challenging time for now. So I would advise the person who raised the questions, that is, you need just to talk to your employer and refuse and put you in a very difficult, challenging time and a very limited time to reach home before the time, then you need to sort it out internally. You don't need to even invite someone to come to solve it from the outside the organization itself.
Thank you, Engineer Ali. Major Mudhir, would you like to add something to the question?
I completely agree with the Engineer Ali, because this is an imperial, affair with the company or the organization where she's working. The Ministry of Commerce, the Ministry of Manpower encourage every to take the necessary action before the timing of closure to ensure that all shops, organizations are closed and all the employees are in their residence before 7 p.m. because the prevention movement starts at 7 p.m. And as you said, that their shops or place where she works close at 5:30, which gives her something like 1 hour 30 minutes to reach home. And I believe this is enough time, but if it's not enough for her to talk to her employer or to talk to her supervisor and to sort it out, I believe they can reach an understanding or reach to a solution that gives her enough time to reach home.
Right. Major Mudhir, she actually asked if she actually gets a fine because of getting home late and because of the work pressure, would that be fine actually incurred upon her or the employer?
In the Sultanate, we don't have what we call a chain of responsibility. And still, we didn't reach that point in our law. Most of the developed countries, they have what we call a chain of responsibility. So once you impose a fine on the employer, and in the employee, the employer or supervisor take a share of this or a part of this fine as well. But here in the Sultanate, no, unfortunately, she will be responsible for paying or taking all the legal outcomes according to what she has committed. If she stayed out beyond 7, she will bear the responsibility by herself. Because the Ministry of Manpower, the Ministry of Commerce as well, they have introduced the number, and there are special departments in each of both ministries where the employees can sort of complain that their employer doesn't help them to reach home at the same time of the lockdown and so on. But I agree again with Engineer Ali would say that she has to talk to her supervisor.
Thank you so much, Major. Thank you so much, Major, for the advice. Maimouna, I actually have a question for you, and that is, there are many employees who actually work outside the governorates. Let's say there are people who are working in Masib or in Ghala or in Rui, and they're coming from Barka, Sohar, or other governorates outside the Muscat governorate. How do you think will working from home benefit those employees who work in the different governorates?
I think the biggest benefit is that it saves them time. They don't need to spend so much time on the road driving back and forth to work. But the only issue is that majority of villas, apartments, and residential units here in Oman are not designed with working spaces. I was reading an article the other day about how residential developers are now adding a new element into their design, which is now a necessity, a workspace or a small office within, these residential complex to accommodate and to be used by people who need to work from home. Just like over a decade ago, a maid's room was necessary. Now it's a maid's room and a study room is necessary in times like this and moving into the future.
Maimuna, considering the current lockdown and the restrictions of movement, have you also changed your schedule of going to work from home? And how far is your workplace and your residence?
I live very close, just 10 minute drive. But yes, we have reshifted our schedules, our working hours, to ensure everyone is home. All employees are home by 6 o'clock maximum, to give them enough time just in case for any emergencies, or if they have to pass by somewhere to pick up something. It's really interesting because yes, this lockdown is being enforced, but everyone was always complaining about working late and staying late in the office and being under pressure and overworked. I think this lockdown has actually given us, some time to spend at home in the evening, to spend with family. I think this is a really good time for our overall mental and physical health. It's making us slow down. And I think that's really important, because we're so used to such a fast-paced life that, slowing down is really good for a person, is really good for employees as well. And I know after this lockdown, people are just going to bounce back, be more energetic, ready to work. So it is actually good in its own way.
Maimuna, you just rightly put it out that, slowing down is very important. It actually gives a little bit of that break from the usual day. Do you think this kind of lockdown that we are facing right now is actually going to help with the productivity of the employees in future?
Definitely. If you're at home by 7 every day, what happens is that you're working all day, and then the evening is running errands or visiting people or getting things done. So by the time you get home, you're already exhausted. But with this lockdown, you're at home at 7 o'clock, you're relaxing, you're either watching Netflix or you're spending time with the family, or, so it is giving them that relaxation that they need. And imagine this going on for 2 weeks, and then when they come back to the office, they'll be ready to come back. They'll be ready to, give their all.
Thank you so much, Maimuna. It's time for a quick commercial break, but we'll be right back after the break with Major Ali, Major Mudar, and Engineer Ali Al-Barwani. Stay tuned. Welcome back to TTV. You're watching Outline. Before going on the break, I said that we'll be back again and talk to Major Mudar and Engineer Ali. Engineer Ali, my question for you is, sir, that, how has your timetable and schedule changed because of this 7 p.m. lockdown in the country?
Myself, basically, I am one of the people that I need to go to the organization and work from the office, and this is only 20 minutes from my house. So it is simple to go and to be there. But of course, I take the time, and then I go on time. I done my job, and I go on time to home. So then to accommodate all the measures that has been published, and we need to follow. The other thing as well, of course, the working from home is become quite a habit. And we, with a laptop like we are doing now, we are meeting as well using the technology. So amazing that how we learn a lot in a very short time. Now we are 5 months since the first 2 cases being discovered in Oman, and things has moved rapidly and change. We can see it in different ways. So I would agree with Maimuna. She is saying there is opportunity as well to really have new skills to learn. There is something as well. There is a quality time. They quite with the activity is going to minimum in the country. I mean by activity, the business activity as well, the social activity. So as technology, it's become important factor. So learning, having, uploading uplifting your skills, as well doing things that it was a little bit forgetting for sometimes. Pay attention to the very, very close family. As well, then review your health. You're looking after your style. That is all. This thing is kind of very attractive to really pay attention to them. So the business is technology is playing really big role to do your job, and in the social life and your own things, there's a lot of things to learn. Again, using technology and to have the new skills. And many people, they even start projects during this time. So I would say is always yes, it is a challenging time. There is some difficulties as not everybody have the same opportunity. Maybe everybody as well, and not everyone have the same circumstances. But yet you can sometimes find within the difficulty an opportunity. So all what we need to do is just to keep trying and using our mind and search for that treasure opportunity to really utilize it and draw the smile. But the number one is still remain our health and our family and our surrounded to be away from COVID-19. And that should be always maintained during this time because that is the top priority.
Absolutely, Engineer Ali. We should not forget that we're still in the middle of the pandemic. Despite the lockdown, even during the day, the Supreme Committee and the other authorities have actually suggested that people should, even during the day, although there is no lockdown, but they should limit their movement because social gatherings and, interacting with each other are actually ways to spread the virus. Major Mudhar, we have another question for you, sir. There is this person asking that, do they still need permission from the work if they're traveling from one governorate to the other after 6 a.m. and returning back to work after Eid holidays? So can one person living in another governorate come to Muscat after 6 a.m. in the morning and then return to their workplace after Eid holidays?
See, first of all, there is no movement between the governorates. So you don't have to take a permission from your organization to leave the governorate to another, but you have to get a permission from the police headquarters in that governorate, so you can cross the checkpoint. So in this case, no, he doesn't have to get a permission from his employee. If he would like to leave from Muscat or from any governorate to another governorate, all what he has to do is that to get a permission from the police headquarters. And usually the police headquarters will not give the permission unless there is a really necessity for him to leave the governorate to another governorate.
Thank you, Major Mudhar. So I was asking Memuna and Engineer Ali how their schedule has changed because of the lockdown. It's going to be very unfair to ask this question from you because, Major, I know that you are on protocol, you're on strict duty. How is your duty or how is your life like with the lockdown happening currently?
Regarding to the work, it doesn't change anything because we are those who are unlucky. We cannot work from home. We have to be in office every day. But the only thing that I noticed is because of the road. So usually the trip from home to work takes me something like 40 minutes. Now I will make it only in 20 minutes, which is a good thing. Other than that, everything is normal. Of course, I cannot visit. I don't want to visit my family and relatives because you know that Supreme Committee and from the medical perspective, it's better to be away and make 2 weeks gap between every visit. So usually I'm staying at home with my wife and kids. Even though my mother and my father or my parents are almost something like 20 kilometers from my house, but usually I don't go. I just go once every 2 weeks. The kids will gather once every 2 weeks just to see our relatives. So, yeah, I miss my family. I miss my friends. Now almost 3 months I didn't see them, but, it's good for them and good for me at the same time.
Thank you, Major Mudhar. Now that, Eid al Adha is just right around the corner, it's just 2-3 days away from now, what advice or what suggestion would you like to give to our viewers right now?
To advise people, to take all the precautionary measures to help in reducing the number of cases and not to spread the disease, and also not to increase the number of deaths. Also, I would like to think before participating in any gathering. During Eid, we have lots of gatherings, social gatherings. So people have to think about all those gatherings. There is a high possibility that an affected person can transmit the virus to other people who are involved in gatherings. We have lots of diseases with the people. They have, their immunity is very weak, so there is a high possibility that might cause them serious virus infection. So my advice to them to commit to the physical distance, to wear mask if they have to go out, to remember to wash their hands, all those precautionary measures.
Thank you so much, Major Muther. Engineer Ali, what advice do you have for people before Eid al-Adha?
Yeah, first is Eid Mubarak for everyone, and inshallah this Eid will bring health and prosper for everyone, and we will see good news that the number of cases going down. This is our wish, and we pray for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this thing to happen, inshallah. I think with the measure that's in place, this thing going to happen. Of course, commitment is already Major Mother, he talked about it. I would advise people, yes, you are at home, but what you need to do is just please use the technology, make Zoom meeting if you like, talk to the people, to your friends, make some meals within your home, just stay at home. However, do activity there, make yourself busy. Go to the Times of Oman page and watch Madiha show, and remember all the good things could happen if we choose to happen. And that is what I would advise them. Always go for the good, go for the healthy style, and use your time wisely. The happinesses could happen as well, even we are inside homes. There is always ways. Be creative. Bring your good memories. Watch your old albums. Talk to the people outside the countries, people that you know them. Make a phone call for an old friend. All those things could happen and make us a little bit accommodate the situation and passing these challenging times. So all my wish and pray that everyone in this beloved country to be safe and healthy. And inshallah, we see this number as we go in the coming few days. And this is to be a very good memory for everyone. And we should remember united together with the government action. That is the way forward for a better time and to pass this challenging time and back to norm. So we need really to be united with all the measures. So this should be always as well. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Engineer Ali. Maimuna, same question goes for you. What advice would you like to share with our viewers?
I think the one single advice would be to stay safe, keep your family safe, and just as Engineer Ali said, that there's so many things that you can do at home. There's so many things that you need to catch up, at home. So stay at home, be safe, abide by the rules, enjoy the Eid holidays, and Eid Mubarak to everyone.
Thank you so much, Maimuna, and wishing from my side and my team, TTV's team, I wish you all a very happy Eid, and to all the viewers as well. Thank you so much for joining us in today's show.
Thank you, Madiha. Eid Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak to each one of you. We'll be back again tomorrow at 2 p.m. with more updates your way. Stay tuned and keep watching TTV.